Okay, here's some more problems from the practice test, linear function practice test. And number 17, we're going to be doing 17, and we want to find the equation of a line in standard form that passes through the points. Now, we have 2 points in letter A, -3, 2, and 7, 12. These might look familiar because we already did these up here. So the idea is when we have 2 points and neither one of them is the intercept, here we have an intercept. This is a little bit easier. So we know that this is 0b, so we have b here. So we can use the slope-intercept form once we find the slope. But on this one, all right, and some of these, I'm looking at some of these are the same up here, so you can kind of piggyback off your work so you don't have to do all the work again. So if we look at number 17, we have 2 points, but we don't have the intercept, so we're going to have to use what we call the point-slope form. So for 17, we're going to have to use the point-slope form. There's some room here. And that's going to be y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And you pretty much need to remember this. You need to remember all 3 forms. And we look over here and we need, this is the point slope form, so we need a point and the slope. Well, do we have a point? Well, we got 2 points. That's no problem. Do we have the slope? No. But can we find the slope? We sure can. Now, we did the work up here, but we'll just write this because you need to know how to do problems like this. So m equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So we've already done this. You can see this up here. It's going to be, this is the work up here, so I'll just do it again. And I'll call this x1, y1, x2, y2. And I'll just put my formula form down. And I've got 12 minus 2 all over 7 minus -3. And that equals 10 over 10, which is 1. So m is 1. My slope is 1. So I can just put this in this form, and I can use either one of these as points. But since I've already labeled this x1, y1, I'm going to use that. So I'm going to write my formula over here. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'll just put my data in. So this is my slope. So my slope was 1. So that goes here for the m. And then, again, y1 is 2. And x1 is -3. So there's your equation. And we could simplify it a little bit. Y minus 2 equals, and if I multiply that, that's x plus 3. Now, if we want this in standard form, we want all the x's and y's on the same side. So what I'll do is I'll try to get them on the right because I got positive x's over there. So I'll subtract y from both sides. And I have -2 equals x minus y plus 3. And then I want my numbers on the other side because standard form, they want it in standard form, which is ax plus by equals c. So then I'll just subtract 3 from both sides. I got -5 equals x minus y. And then I can just use the symmetric property of equality and say that x minus y equals -5. And this is in standard form, and you can say that a is 1, b equals -1, and c equals -5. See, that's in standard form. 1x minus 1y equals -5. Okay? All right, if we look at number 17, letter B, okay, we have our 2 points, 0, -3, and 7, -8. Now, we know if we got the point 0 something, that something's going to be b. So it's 0b from the y equals mx plus b form. That's the slope-intercept. So we have the intercept, so we might as well use this form. And now we just need to find the slope. So again, I'll label my points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and I'll write my slope formula. M equals y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So m equals Probably your most important formula right here. And then y2 is negative 8. y1 is negative 3. Notice we got double negatives, negatives in our formula and negatives in our data. And then x2 is 7 and x1 is 0. So that's negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5, so that equals negative 5 all over 7, so that's my slope, that equals m. And I've got the intercept, b equals, this is 0b, so this is 0, negative 3, so b equals negative 3, so I can just put this in the slope of the slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b, and y equals, and my slope is negative 5 over 7, x, and b is negative 3. Now we want this in standard form, so we have to get rid of the fractions because we have just integers. A and b are integers in the standard form. So I multiply both sides by 7. And I have on the left 7y equals, and then if I multiply 5/7 by 7, I just get 1, so that's going to be negative 5x. And if I multiply 7 times negative 3, I get negative 21. And then if I add 5x to both sides, I get 5x minus 7y equals negative 21. And there's my standard form. And we could say that a equals 5, b equals negative 7, and c equals negative 21. That's the standard form. So we have to do a little algebra there. And then letter C. And you can use a little bit of intuition on this one. I think I already talked about this. Negative 3, 2, and, comma, and negative 3, negative 2. Well, these are lines, so if we have two situations, 2 points where the x value is the same, then that means the x is always going to be, and this is x and y. If it's a line, this is going to be a vertical line, and x is always negative 3. So the equation of that line is just x equals negative 3. Now, would this work in the point-intercept form or the point-slope form? No, it's a vertical line, so the slope would be undefined, so it would be kind of in a fix there. Okay? So you kind of have to kind of noodle that one out and realize that if these are the same, x is always negative 3. 2 points if two x values are the same, they're all the same if it's a line. Okay? So that was a little bit more intuitive rather than just working it out using formulas.